Wilmington, North Carolina. There's a huge influx of people coming to Wilmington for a number of reasons, but in this video, I wanted to discuss some of the pros and the cons of living in Wilmington, North Carolina. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Living in Jacksonville channel. I'm Avery. I'm with American Home Team here at eXp Realty, and as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So that phone number and email address popping up on your screen, I am the guy that responds to those calls, texts, and emails. I would love to have a conversation with you regarding your move here to the Jacksonville and Eastern North Carolina region. And guys, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell so that you're notified every single Tuesday and Thursday that I drop a new video regarding all things Eastern North Carolina. And without further ado, guys, today we're talking about the pros and the cons of Wilmington, North Carolina. All right, so jumping right into it, Wilmington, North Carolina is a quintessential coastal town. It is the beach town, right? It's the site of a number of movies like Iron Man 3, TV shows like Dawson's Creek or One Tree Hill. And if you watch any of those shows or those movies, you will see that it is a beautiful coastal town. With that said, it offers tons of opportunity for boating, fishing, sunbathing, surfing. There's a ton of surf schools and things like that. So you'll never run out of things to do regarding coastal activities. It is a beautiful, beautiful area with regard to the beach. It houses Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, Curry Beach, and then a very short drive over to Topsail Island. So if you're a beachgoer, that is definitely going to be a pro for you, that Wilmington is a beach town. Now, with that said, it can also be a con, the fact that it is coastal, simply because of the hurricane risks. Every couple of years there is a catastrophic hurricane that you need to be cognizant of and have a plan for. The last one that we experienced was Hurricane Florence. I believe it was 18 or 19 if I'm not mistaken. But Florence was the most recent catastrophic hurricane. The rest of them are tropical storms and some minor flooding, things of that nature, but it is not as devastating as like Florence, some of the higher category 5 hurricanes, that kind of thing. But hurricanes and tropical storms are something that you do need to prepare for if you're going to be living on the coast, and Wilmington is no exception. So whether you're living inland or on the beach, it's a very good idea to get flood insurance. Even if you're not in a flood zone, it's a good idea. But you will be required to get wind and hail regardless of whether you're inland or not. So wind and hail insurance and flood insurance, definitely, worth the few $100 to get, to save you on thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on personal belongings as well as the infrastructure of your home. All right, and moving on, Wilmington is also known for its vibrant history. Wilmington was settled in 1730, and the oldest house in Wilmington is still there. It's the Burgwin Wright House. It was finished in 1770. It's about 250 years old. Awesome, awesome house, and it's right along the Cape Fear River. So while you're out strolling through town, through the historic district, hitting up Fat Tony's or hitting up the breweries or wherever you're going, be sure to scoot on down and check out the Burgwin Wright House. It's honored a couple times a year, and it's just a really cool sight to see if you're interested in historic properties. A lot of the streets in the historic district are cobblestone roads, so a lot of that history is really shown and preserved throughout Wilmington, and it makes it such a cool environment. I'm from the Finger Lakes, which is a very historic area in upstate New York, but this area in Wilmington is even more historic because in upstate New York, it was settled around like the early 1800s to mid 1800s, whereas here in Wilmington, it was settled in the early 1700s, so almost 100 years prior to where I'm from in upstate New York. So the area in Wilmington is super, super cool to be settled 1730, so a long time ago. And if you're a history buff, check out Wilmington. You're not going to regret some of the nightlife and the vibrance of Wilmington as a historic district, and how much they've actually been able to preserve from that era. Now, a con to the historic district is that it does attract a ton of tourists. So when you're just trying to go out and have some dinner, or, you know, wander through town and get a beer, or whatever it is, see a show, a concert, whatever it is, you are going to be inundated, especially during the summer, with tourist activities. So they're coming to look at some of the historic sites, and they're also coming because of Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, and Cary Beach, just to go and hang out at those places. So the tourist activity can be annoying sometimes if you're a local, just because the streets are more busy than normal, the traffic is worse than normal. So that's something you're going to want to consider. Is during the summer months, it does get extremely populated, especially when you have some UNCW students going out to the beaches, going out in town, having their time off, and you know, having their fun. It can make it more cumbersome for you as a local. All right, and moving on to the third pro, one of the biggest reasons that people move to the area, whether it's the Wilmington area or just Eastern North Carolina in general, is the mild climate. Here in Eastern North Carolina, we have very mild winters. The average is about 50 degrees all winter long, which a lot of you snowbirds will come to love that, right? It's not too hot in the winter. You can still go outside with a little jacket on, have a beach day, do whatever you want to do. Obviously, the water is going to be a little bit chilly, but it's not going to be freezing temperatures with snow. There are, every once in a while, some snow days, right? And in this area, snow days are a big thing. If you get a little dusting of snow, schools are shutting down, bases are closed, right? People aren't driving because it's rare. Couple times a year that happens, if that, but the average is 50 degrees during the winter. And then in the summer, it's very mild as well, whereas the average temperature is about 85 degrees and sunny. You also get some rain, some subtropical rain and things of that nature. But overall, it is a very mild climate that people flock here for that reason. They just want to get out of the cold of maybe, you know, upstate New York like myself, the north, northeast, or just, you know, maybe even the northwest where you get some miserable winters as well, or out of the dreaded heat in like Louisiana or Florida or Georgia even, trying to get a little bit more mild in the summertime and move up to the Wilmington area for some of that mild climate. But with some of those draws like the mild climate here in Wilmington, it does pose a con as well, and that is the growth and infrastructure and development in this area. Normally you would think that it's a good thing, right? But the growth and development can't keep up with the influx of people coming here to Wilmington. So what that provides us is a ton of traffic, right? Lacking job markets, things like that, right? Where we can't keep the infrastructure going fast enough to maintain the influx of people. We have such a nice environment here, you know, especially due to COVID, where people can work remotely. They're choosing to go and live where they want to live versus being forced to live somewhere, and Wilmington is one of those places. So the fact that we can't keep up on the development side means that traffic is more congested. There's not enough housing, not enough rentals for a lot of these people. So they're constantly building and building and building, seemingly never complete. But with the traffic, there are some highways and bypasses and things of that nature that are being built and worked on currently to help divert around 15 to 20,000 travelers every single day. So hopefully here in the near future, we can catch up to the influx of people and help divert some of that traffic so that the commute times are lower and people can actually get situated into new homes. And moving back into the pros of Wilmington, North Carolina is the cultural scene. One of the benefits that we get to benefit from here in Wilmington is the fact that there's so much going on. So arts festivals, right? Aside from the norm, right? Like bars and breweries, distilleries, things like that. You get art festivals, you get arts museums, the Azalea Festival, which is an awesome time. That's done annually in the month of April. It's a very big festival. Recently there's been a ton of music fests as well. So beach music, country music, you name it. Music festivals are happening all over the place. There was one this past weekend at the amphitheater. Thalian Hall is right around the corner. So there's a lot going on that a lot of the locals just like to go and relax, have a good time at some of these museums, explore some art, culture, things of that nature that are just awesome. And so a lot of the tourists will come and check those out as well. But if you live here, you get to benefit from it year round. And with every pro, there is a con too. And so a lot of those museums, a lot of those type of things will add to the cost of living in a particular area. And one of the complaints that a lot of people have about the Wilmington area is that the cost of living is a bit higher here than other parts of North Carolina. And yes, that's absolutely true. Housing prices are a little higher. Property taxes are a little higher, right? The cost of groceries and gas, things like that are a little bit higher. However, I came from upstate New York in the Northeast. Down in the Wilmington area, I'm saving a boatload of money on property taxes, on home ownership as a whole, right? The price of a house is a little bit more expensive than my neck of the woods in upstate New York for the price of a home, but the taxes are so much cheaper that it really offsets, right? Cost of goods like groceries and going out and just everyday living is also a bit cheaper for me. So if you're coming from the Northeast, or you're coming from just like an expensive part of Texas or Florida or, you know, the Midwest, you still are going to be saving a ton of money in this area. But yes, I do recognize the fact that you go straight up the road over to Jacksonville, right into Onslow County. New Hanover County is a little bit more expensive than Onslow County. It's a little bit more expensive than some other parts of North Carolina. So that is something that you're going to want to consider. If you're coming from the Raleigh area or Winston-Salem or somewhere in North Carolina, you will need to weigh the pros and the cons with regard to the cost of living, because you might need to save up a little bit more money. You might have a higher cost of living coming from some of the more rural areas or smaller areas in North Carolina. So just something to think about. I really don't think it's that bad with my perspective coming from upstate New York. But there are certainly complaints about the cost of living here in Wilmington. And then the last thing that I have on my pros list is the proximity to great colleges. UNCW is right here in Wilmington. That's the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. So if you have a family, if you have young kids or teenage kids that are going to be considering college here soon, they're not going to have to go far to find a great college. There's obviously a whole bunch of great colleges in North Carolina, Winston-Salem, Duke, whatever. But UNCW is right here. Great programs, great professionals are made out of UNCW. Or there's Coastal Carolina Community College, right? There's a number of schools in the nearby area, so your kids don't have to go far to find a great college, to get a great education. And that is one of the benefits of this area, is that you can be so close to the beach, you can have a cheaper cost of living than a lot of other places in the US and still have great education, or higher education rather, in the area. All right, and the last con that I want to bring up is the seasonal tourism economy, right? So Wilmington and Eastern North Carolina as a whole is a really, really big tourist hub. That means that a lot of businesses here are seasonal businesses. So in the peak seasons, like in the summer, in like the peak beach weather, those businesses are open. In the winter time, where some of that tourism dies down a little bit, those businesses might be closed. So that can lead to some fluctuating job markets, right? Some income opportunities or lack of income opportunities, depending on what you do for a living or what your trade is. But that is a negative here, is that some businesses are gonna close in the off season. Now, they are smaller businesses. They're not like the big box stores or anything like that that are going to be closing. They are some of the smaller mom and pop businesses that will make the majority of their money during the peak season, and then they'll close, or they'll go to like 2 days a week just to, you know, front the taxes or something. But it is a seasonal economy anytime that you have tourism. All right, and there you have it, guys. That was the pros and the cons of Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington is a fantastic area, whether you're just taking a weekend trip or a longer vacation, or you're deciding to move here. Guys, my number and email address is right there on the screen for you. My name's Avery Hamilton. I'm with American Home Team at eXp Realty. I would love to have a conversation with you and help you make a move, or have a beer with you if you're just taking a vacation here to the area. Guys, if this video helped you or you found value in it in any way, shape, or form, or you thought it was stupid, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that I can annoy you some more with some of these videos. But until the next video, guys, we'll see you later.